Hello, everyone. This is just Mr. Chris, and this is chapter 20 of Dear Martin by Nick Stone. Mrs. Friedman looks so shocked to see Justice standing on her doorstep. He peeks over his shoulder to make sure there's not a ghost or something behind him. Justice? Hey, Mrs. F., is Sarah Jane home? Sure, come in. And Mrs. F. stands there with her eyes popping out of her head. Just thinks maybe he shouldn't have just shown up with no notice. Not that he made a conscious decision to do that. He got back he got back to school from Martell's, hopped in his car, and let his instincts lead. This is where he ended up. I should have called, he says. I'm sorry. No, that's not it at all. We've really missed you around here. They missed him? SJ's up in her room, but do you mind saying hello to Neil? He'll be thrilled to see you. Sure. Mrs. F. leads him around to the living room, where Mr. Friedman is kicked back in his recliner watching reruns of the Final Four. Neil, look who's here, she says. When Mr. F. Friedman sees Just, he sits bolt upright. Just Meister! Hey, Mr. F. It's really you! Mr. Friedman jumps up to hug Just, who winces a little from the pressure on his shoulder. How are you? We're so glad to see you, son. I can see that. The Friedmans laugh. Just swallows. It's a little overwhelming, all this love. Sarah's in her room if you want to head up, Justice, Mrs. F says. Thank you, and thanks for the warm welcome. Promise I'll call first next time. Oh, don't be silly. Just smiles and turns to head upstairs. Hey, Justmeister, if you need anything at all, I mean it, don't hesitate to call us, all right? Mr. F says from behind him. At first, Just recoils. If there's one thing he can't handle right now, it's pity. But as he looks over his shoulder into the faces of SJ's parents, he knows this is different. He clears his throat. Thanks so much, sir. That really means a lot to me. You betcha, kiddo. Okay, we've embarrassed ourselves enough, Mrs. F says. Go on up. As Just climbs, he gets nervous. What if SJ isn't as cool with him dropping in as her parents were? What if she's busy? What if she's asleep? What is he even going to say to her? The door is cracked, and he can hear what sounds like NPR and Carrie Underwood playing simultaneously inside SJ's room. Typical. He knocks. Come in. She's stretched out on the bed in her brass prep lacrosse shorts and a t-shirt, with an open calculus book in her lap. When she sees it's him, she sits up just like her dad did, wearing the same expression her mom had. It makes him smile. Hey, he says. Hey, she scrambles around for a second, like she can't figure out what to do, shuts the calc book, sets it aside, and swings her legs around so she's sitting on the edge of the bed. Oh, she grabs a remote from the nightstand and points it at the speakers attached to her computer on the desk. NPR and Carrie go quiet. So, you're here? Just laughs. That's what your parents said. Oh God, did they totally attack you? I'm so sorry. She shakes her head. You're literally all they talk about these days. I would have warned you if I'd known you were coming. Just laughs again. It's all good. Actually felt pretty nice. She smiles. Want to sit? Points to the empty space beside her. He sits so close to her. He sits so close that their shoulders and legs are touching. She's warm. So, what brings you to La Casa de Friedman, Mr. McAllister? She nudges his knee with her own. He turns to look at her. You? Me? Yeah, He looks away. Well, everything okay, Just? She touches his forearm, just past his wrist, and the memory of handcuffs overwhelms him even all these months later. His eyes drop to her hands, and he feels a weight slip off his shoulders. They're chipped now, but her nails are still painted his favorite color. Just stands, pulls SJ up, and wraps her in a hug that lifts her off her feet. Okay, she says. He inhales a whiff of her fruity shampoo. I almost joined a gang today, he says. Huh? I almost joined a gang. He puts her down. Remember the guys I told you about from the Halloween party? You mean the ones who threatened to shoot you? Yeah, I went to see their leader. You what? I was thinking about, joining their crew. She just gapes at him. They both sit back on the bed, and he tells her about visiting Quan in juvie and the sequence of events that led him to Martel's doorstep. At some point, he starts crying, which he'd normally be embarrassed about, but he's not because it's the best he's felt since before he can remember. Granted, part of feeling so good probably has to do with being wrapped in SJ's arms, with his head on her shoulder. Just has no idea when that happened, but here they are. He can imagine Manny calling him a punk for letting her hold him while he cries like a big A baby, but instead of making him sad, the thought makes him smile. He can also imagine Manny saying, "Took you long enough, fool." After a few minutes of silence, SJ lets him go, and he sits up. "Thanks for that." He smiles at her. She doesn't smile back. "You okay?" "Justice, do you like me?" "Huh?" SJ clasps her hands in her lap. "Like, I know you're going through a lot right now." "But," he says. She looks at him. "I can't keep doing this to myself, Just." "What are you talking about, S?" She sighs. "Okay, this is the thing. I've had a crush on you since 10th grade." "For real?" "Yes. At first, that's all it was. Didn't expect anything to come of it. But then last semester, we started talking more and spending more time together, and it like evolved. Just doesn't know what to say. Problem is, I don't really know how to read you. Sometimes it seems like you're into me, but other times you're kind of withdrawn. Sometimes you look at me in a way that makes me want to put the world on a platter and hand it to you, but other times you won't look at me at all." "Damn, S. As much as I enjoy our friendship and company, I can't keep giving myself over to this hope we'll become something more. I need to know where you stand. So tell me the truth." She looks him right in the eye. "Do you like me, Just?" He gulps. Uh, oh my God, you totally don't." "Huh? I didn't say." "You hesitated." Just peers down at his brown hands and sees Manny's watch. "You know what? It's fine," she says. "We can still be friends. S, I like you." She glares at him. "Don't just say it to shut me up, Justice. I'm not. I do like you. I swear. More than I've ever liked any girl." "Why do I feel like there's a but?" He sighs. "Mello, right?" she says. "What? No. Mello and I are done. As in, never gonna happen again." "So what is it? Is it me?" "No, it's..." He looks around the room, anywhere but at her. "It's complicated." She drops her chin again. Just, just forget it." "Wait, no. It's now or never, dog," Manny says in his head. Just turns to face her fully. "S, I'm sorry for confusing you. You're right. I never said how I felt, 'cause I was scared to." She fiddles with her hands and doesn't respond, just takes a deep breath. "This is the thing," he says. "My mom, well, she's not real keen on me, dating girls who aren't African American." SJ draws back, and then her head cocks to one side. "Really?" "Yep. It's been since I was little, but she's gotten more adamant about it since he cuts her off, or he cuts off. Since the shooting," SJ says. "Yeah," she sighs. "But I don't care anymore," Just says. "Huh?" "About what she thinks, I don't care." SJ lifts an eyebrow and crosses her arms, and I'm the Easter Bunny. Just laughs. "Okay, I care, but..." Just takes in her face, sees what he'd be passing up. "I can't let it stop me," he says. "Life is too short." She bites her lip, and it drives Just absolutely crazy. "Let me make it clear right now," he says. "I like you, Sarah Jane. No matter my mom's opinion, you mean a lot to me. And if you'll have me, I'd love to take you out sometime." Her eyes narrow. "Like on a date?" Or "like on a date?" "I know, numbnuts." She rolls her eyes and smiles. "You've never called me Sarah Jane before." He grins. She blushes. "Can't lie. It's real fun making your cheeks all red." He says, "Shut up." She punches him. It makes him laugh and want to kiss her. "So, what's up? We doing this?" She covers her face. "Will you stop making me blush?" "Nope." Ugh. She huffs and drops her hands. "You're all in?" "I'm all in, girl." Her eyes narrow for a second and then, "Okay." She smiles again. Just shakes his head. "Had to make me sweat for it, huh?" "Just returning the favor." "Touche." A beat passes and then, "Can I tell you something?" she says. "You mean there's more?" "Shut up. This is serious." "Okay." And now he's nervous. She takes a really deep breath and shifts her gaze across the room. "Seeing you with all those tubes in your body was probably the lowest moment of my life, Jess. To think I spent all that time being stupid, then almost lost you." She shakes her head. "I felt the same way when I saw you at the funeral." Silence. Then, "Justice." "Yes, Sarah Jane?" "Can we agree not to be that stupid again?" He smiles and drapes an arm around her shoulder. "Sounds like a plan to me." Transcript from the Nightly News, May 21st. Anchor. Good evening and welcome to the Channel 2 Nightly News. In our top story tonight, investigators say a fire at the home of former Atlanta police officer Garrett Tyson was deliberately set. Investigator. Arson was our initial suspicion due to the number of threatening phone calls and letters Mrs. Tyson has received during her husband's detainment. We're now able to confirm that this fire was started from the outside. Cuts to picture of the house's charred remains. Anchor voiceover. Police have apprehended 3 teenage boys who were seen in the area on the night of the incident. Beverly Tyson, Garrett's wife, sustained multiple second-degree burns, leaving her in serious condition. Anchor continued. Tyson's trial in connection with the January shooting that left one teenager dead and another wounded is set to begin approximately 5 weeks from today. More on this story as it continues to develop. That's the end of chapter 20.